Hi everyone, so welcome to my 10-minute tutorials. On Monday we practiced stepping to the top of the mat from down dog, and today we're going to take it a little bit further and practice actually floating from down dog to the top of the mat, so getting a little air time, a little levity there. So for this today you'll need 2 mats ideally, one rolled out and then one rolled up. But if you don't have 2 mats at home, you can just roll up a mat and use the floor instead of the other mat. So we'll just do a quick wrist warm up and stretch, and then we'll go straight into the exercise, which I think is pretty fun. So just to warm up the wrist, you'll reach your arms forward and you'll squeeze your palms into a tight fist and then release. And then you'll start to pick up the pace, and it kind of seems silly, I call them sort of like spirit fingers, but you'll start to feel your forearms firing up. So just stick with the breath and keep squeezing tightly every time you draw your fingertips in. Good. And then as you start to feel the wrist firing up, try not to slow down the pace. So your hands are going to want to slow down. Try to keep the same quickness in the pace. And then we'll keep doing this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then shake it out. And then just a quick and easy wrist stretch. You can just bring your thumb inside your hand, straighten the arm and draw the knuckles in towards the forearm. And then just flip the stretch. So fingers up and stretch them back. And then you'll do the other side. So thumb in, straighten through the arm, and then draw the knuckles in. And then flip the hand up. Okay, so now for the floating exercise. So I think floating is a challenging thing for people because it's hard to practice going from point A to point Z. So going from down dog and maybe never having floated to hopping all the way to the top of the mat can be kind of scary. So this exercise is really nice because it helps break it down. So you can practice moving a little bit further every day, and then by the time you're actually at the top of the mat, it doesn't feel like you took that big leap to get there. So before I show you the exercise, there's 2 things to keep in mind. So most often when we first start hopping to the top of the mat, we think of it directionally as forward and back. So we gaze forward, we bend the knees, and inhale, we hop forward and back. But to get that floating air time, you want to actually also find the direction up and down. So we're lifting up, shoulders are stacking over the wrists. Eventually one day, hips will stack over the shoulders. And that lifting up motion of the body as you're moving forward in space is what creates that sort of floating sensation. So, and also so that we can land softly instead of landing with a big thud. So one way that I was taught that I found really helpful to break this down is to roll up a mat. Again, if you don't have 2 mats at home, just use the floor and roll up your mat. Because it's a great height here, and I'm going to bring it all the way to my toes. And it's sort of like a game. So you're in down dog. And the game is to hop over the mat. Now you might think that's easy and hopping over the mat, but if you're bending the knees, it's easy. So the trick to this is that you have to keep the legs straight in the air. And having the legs straight in the air forces the hips to lift a little bit higher. So you'll bend the knees, gaze forward, and then inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, bend the knees as you land. So you don't want to land with straight legs, sort of that rigor mortis feeling, because then you're not going to absorb the shock. So if you feel comfortable, I really recommend starting with the mat all the way to your toes. It's harder than it looks. And then once you feel like you can do that 5 times pretty easily, you'll move it maybe just a few inches forward in space. So you come back to your down dog. You bend the knees, gaze forward. Again, I want to keep my legs straight in the air. And then bend. So you notice I'm getting a little air time. I'm levitating for a second. And then over time, you're going to keep moving this forward. And it might not be in a day or a week. It might be over a month or longer. But you'll start to notice you have to lift the hips higher to get over the mat with straight legs. So, I haven't done very many arm balances or anything today, but I'll give it a try with the mat higher up top. So it can be pretty challenging to get over it here. I might fail here. But once you eventually get the mat all the way up towards the top, you'll notice that the hips have to come all the way over the shoulders. Didn't quite make it, but you get the gesture there. So it helps you practice finding that lift, that air time, and a softer landing, so you're using more control. And it's also how you can start to maybe incorporate floating into a handstand with control and landing back down. So when you have that control, lifting hips over shoulders, everything kind of starts to stack. You can eventually continue that stacking and bring the legs over the hips. So, I actually am not sure. I maybe finished this tutorial in under 10 minutes today. I'm still working out the logistics of it all. Okay, I have a few more minutes. So this is something to practice at home in your own time. And since I have a few more minutes, just want to announce that I'm going to be doing these IG lives every Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock. They're 10 minutes long. Sometimes they're going to be doing more advanced postures, so I'll announce them on Sundays. So if we're doing a more advanced posture, make sure that you come warmed up, or you can always just tune in and take notes. So I hope that that was helpful. Also, one more announcement is I am going to upload these to my YouTube channel along with my Zoom classes if you ever miss any of my Zoom classes. So Jenny Kleiss Yoga, and have a great day, everyone.